Joining me is former Labor leader Mark Latham. Mark, thanks a lot for your time. What does this result tell us, do you think?
Well, there's probably three lessons, Andrew, at different levels. I mean, for anyone aspiring to public office, you've got the unique circumstance with Trump that he was institution-free. The great thing about his presidency will be that he's not beholden to any vested interest in the system. He took on the mainstream media as disgusting people, mainly because they are disgusting people. He took on Wall Street. He took on the foreign policy defence establishment that's failed hopelessly in the Middle East, particularly through the invasion of Iraq. He's taken on the special interests and the corruption in Washington. He took on the Hillary Clinton machine and all its corruption. So normally, in the conventional wisdom of politics, you take on those powerful interests, they'll crush you. But Trump today is triumphant. So great encouragement there for people who want to campaign against the establishment, knowing that they can prevail. The second lesson is for people left of centre. They've got to have a look at the exit polling, the major exit poll in the United States today. Trump got the same female vote as Romney 4 years ago, and of course the male vote surged. Trump improved the vote from Romney 4 years ago with whites, with Latinos, with blacks, with Asian Americans. The Hillary Clinton attempt to put together an identity coalition was a hopeless, pathetic joke. And if people on the left don't understand that this identity politics and the political correctness that comes with it is totally counterproductive in the electorate and totally counterproductive for the proper ideals of social democracy, then they're from another planet. Now, you've only got to replay the things we consistently talk about on Straight Talk to know that identity politics and political correctness from the left is just absolutely pathetic. And the third lesson, there's a big lesson here for Conservatives, Andrew, Conservatives like yourself, Corey Bernardi and so forth, because as I tried to explain to Greg Sheridan last night on Jones & Co., each of the major institutions of Conservative political life have collapsed in terms of public trust. The foreign policy establishment, the mainstream media, Wall Street, of course, out of the GFC, the Washington elites, the vested interests, and Conservatives have got to find a new rationale, a new way of doing things, a new institutional reason to exist. And I think Trump provides a very important lesson there, because pouncing around like Mr. Darcy characters out of a Jane Austen novel, being polite and civil, sort of Malcolm Turnbull style, the major problem with 18C, have an inquiry, there's an imbecile running the Human Rights Commission, oh, well, we won't sack her, we'll just sort of think about it and hope the problem goes away. All this civility by Conservatives is not doing justice to the real problem we've got, that the left are marching forward through our institutions with things like safe schools, 18C, safe spaces, trigger warnings, systematically walking through our institutions with a cultural revolution on a scale we haven't seen since Mao's effort in China in the 1960s, where they want everyone to think, behave and have the same values as them. And if the Conservatives don't stand up to this and use a big stick and some tough talk and some rough language to deal with these people, then you won't get any support. And all those Paul Ryan Republicans in the United States who thought you could be nice and civil and friendly, all these little Marco Rubios and the like, well, Trump wiped them aside, and then he's wiped Clinton aside on the basis that he has got the big stick and where necessary he'll use it.
I tell you what, this may be a lesson for a lot of politicians to have the courage to speak frankly and know if they have the arguments and if they can put them well, they can defy the worst that the media can throw at them, particularly the ABC, Guardian, Sydney Morning Herald, Age sort of nexus. And they can do that on the free speech issue. If they can't win that, they shouldn't be in politics. And they can do it on global warming if they have the guts. And maybe we might just see real argument in this country on a Conservative agenda.
Well, who could take seriously the ABC, the Guardian or Fairfax after their commentary about Trump?
Malcolm Turnbull.
Consistently wrong, consistently misunderstanding the American people, consistently elitist in their attitudes to the Trump campaign, and on election day consistently humiliated. Now, I assume all those media outlets are now putting blank screens up because they've got no so-called experts left to talk. I mean, Barry Cassidy, a month ago on Insiders, said it would be similar to 1984 Reagan versus Mondale. And what he meant by that was Clinton 525 electoral college votes and Trump 13. How wrong, boneheaded, stupid, pathetic joke can any man be in commentary? But he'll be there again, funded by us taxpayers for this imbecile. He'll be there on Sunday hosting his program because the ABC, they're not after objective, sensible, clear-headed political analysis are all political campaigners at our expense, and it's pathetic. And again, it's an example where civility conservatives, headed by those in the Turnbull government, look at the ABC, and they're too scared to take them on and do something about this farce.
But one other aspect of this, Mark, is that nationalism seems to me back in vogue. It's had a dirty name for decades as being, you know, if you're a nationalist, you're a Nazi. But I suspect that Malcolm Turnbull, with his, this internationalist approach, is going to be swamped by people like Cory Bernardi, who's already been photographed wearing a Donald Trump-style hat, "Make Australia Great Again." Nationalism might be back in vogue.
Well, why wouldn't you want to make Australia great again? There's no shame in a Trump hat. He's the American president-elect. What a magnificent thing to say on such a night. Now, nationalism, well, of course, people are going to want to take back their country. There are a lot of people badly treated in the system. It's not just the economic issues. These cultural issues that you focus on, Andrew, are paramount. Things like political correctness, identity politics, the farce we see in this country about the erosion of free speech and the attempt of the cultural dietitians to make us all like them because they think they're morally superior. Well, a lot of people, especially those who are left out of the identity categories, hate this stuff. And when they vote, as they did in Brexit, they marched out quietly, methodically, peacefully, and took back their country. That's how they saw it. They took back their country. And quite frankly, what's happened in the United States is a lot of people out there, as Peter Credlin said, in small-town America, went out and did exactly the same thing. It's a very, very powerful emotion in politics to go out there in a democracy and take back and reclaim your country. And that's what they've done. And it's not just on the economic issues. I mean, the left, in some respects, will actually be saying, oh, these poor downtrodden victims of globalisation. The bigger issue is about the cultural imperatives and people who feel like they haven't got the rights of citizenship, the rights of freedom, the rights of having their kids in decent schools without all this leftist cultural revolution and in decent universities without the safe spaces and trigger warning nonsense. People in small-town America have rebelled against all that stuff.
Mate, I've missed it. I sold Cory Bernardi as Australia's next Donald Trump, but I think I might be talking to him right now. Mark Latham, thank you very much for your time.
A pleasure. Thanks, Andrew.